Okay, it's late October. Ian and I are going on an ATV adventure in Haliburton. So we're going to go on some trails. We're going to go on some trails that are part of the Haliburton ATV Association club trails, and then we're going to see how far that takes us. So come along with us today. All right.
Have fun. Welcome to Second Wind Adventures, where we start the next chapter in our life, where retirement can be fun, exciting, and challenging.
Follow along with us as we continue to transition from our regular full-time work life to a more flexible lifestyle that includes cottage living, adventure travel, and our dream to circumnavigate the globe on a sailing catamaran.
This is us, Alina and Monte. We would love if you joined us so that we can share with you the trials of achieving our goals.
So here we go. Today's adventure is going to take us on a tour through some back roads in Haliburton, on our way to one of the trailheads for the Haliburton ATV Association's dedicated trails. From the map you see here, we leave the cottage on our lake and travel almost 70 kilometers through both paved and unpaved back roads. In the action shot on the bottom we're showing, you see the unpaved trail south of the village of Haliburton along an old rail trail to get to our trailhead.
Looks like you guys picked an ideal sunny day for your adventures. But wait, where's all the mud and dirt that you guys were covered in when you got back? This looks pretty tame.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that very shortly.
I didn't join Monte today as our ATV is really only meant for one. So he decided to take off for the day with one of our neighbors, Ian, who also has an ATV and had rode on these trails before.
So here's the trailhead. It looks kind of flat and not so rough, but that will change soon, as you'll see.
How come you guys are going so slowly? No wonder you guys were gone all day.
Well, you know what? We would have been gone longer, but we were actually afraid of running out of fuel, even though we both carried extra fuel in our auxiliary cans.
It doesn't look that bumpy.
Well, we were actually both in low gear the whole time. And, the camera stabilization that is on the GoPro and the 360, it really works well. So it helps in eliminating all the camera shake because although you can't see the ATV shaking over the rocks, there was a considerable amount of camera shake that was happening.
It doesn't look like there's anyone else around.
Well, it's kind of late in the season, definitely in late September and so forth. A lot of people go home, close their cottages, and this time in the fall, most people are back in the city, and like I said, all the cottages are closed up. So we practically had the entire trail to ourselves. We didn't really see anyone out the whole day we were there.
And it's looking pretty dry out on the trail.
Yeah, you can see from the leaves and the trail itself, it was actually pretty dry. It actually hadn't rained for about a week and a half. So if you can imagine, if we went out just after a rain, it would be a heck of a lot wetter and muddier out there. So look at the rocks on this trail here. They're pretty well dried out. Oh yeah, and you see in some of the shots there, we have straps secured on the front of the carrier. That's one thing that Ian advised us to do because he'd been on trails before. That's actually the end of the winch where the hook is, and both ATVs have winches in the front in case we get stuck in the deep mud. Having the strap and the cable accessible on the top of the rack basically allows us to access it easier and not have to dig through the mud with, underneath the front of the ATV to sort of fish it around and trying to find it when it's really muddy. And you'll see that hopefully in a clip coming up soon. So
Did you have to stop and bail someone out using those winches?
Well,
No?
yeah,
Sort of?
yeah. You'll see as we come up on some of the scenes. Like right now, we're just going down a pretty flat part of the trail, and once again, still in first gear, and we basically didn't want to do any damage to the ATVs. I don't have skid plates on the bottom underside of ours. And so I didn't want to go too fast over some of the terrain, because if I would have landed on a large rock, which I actually did once or twice at speed, then it would actually damage the either the suspension components that's underneath or other parts. Mm-hmm. So here you can see I'm going through a bit of a puddle, and there's a lot of mud and water in some parts. So
Yeah, you keep stopping, I see. Here
yeah,
and there.
yeah. Yeah, we took turns, exchanging, the lead. He went through first in a couple of mud puddles. I went through first on a couple of others. And it was my first time on a trail, so I was just kind of taking it easy, trying not to wreck our new bike, and just getting used to how it handles, because I found that if you sat on the seat the whole time, you're gonna have a really sore tailbone at the end of the ride. And
did you feel a lot of vibration on the ATV?
oh yeah, like
to your arms?
Yeah, a couple of times I had to stand up on my feet, sort of on the sides of the ATV, and come off the seat, because it was like bucking like a bronco like crazy, especially when you go through some of the mud, as you see here.
There's the mud.
Oh yeah, there's some rocks underneath there, and this is where we're starting to get dirty now. So I know this is the big part that everyone's looking forward to. Where's all that mud? Where's all that water? So we're starting to hit some of it now, and I guess it stays pretty wet for most of the year, because I don't think at this point that you're looking at it, I don't think it rained for about a week, and we only had a little bit of rain prior to that. So this is actually pretty dry in terms of conditions here right now.
But it looks beautiful. Did you see any animals, or?
Oh no!
Quiet?
These ATVs are so loud, they probably take off by the time we get around there. Yeah. Well, actually, on the ride in, we did pass a couple of hunters that were out. Yeah, they kind of looked at us with these looks. I guess we were disturbing their hunting sessions.
What do you think they were hunting for? What
who knows?
season was it?
I think it's deer, maybe even moose. But they have to. They're out there wearing their their flash orange, blaze orange jackets and things like that. So most of them were hanging close to the road and just walking up and down. Some of them were sitting in their cars and doing who knows what. But on this particular ATV trails, we didn't see any hunters, of course. And we're just enjoying the wilderness.
Yeah, very pretty. So that's Ian in the front there.
Yeah, he was. It took me a while to sort of get used to accelerating out of the muck and going up the steep terrain, because a couple of times it felt like I was just gonna topple off the ATV, and that wouldn't have been good if I would have rolled it, because all the fenders and the components and the body cladding around the ATV, it's all plastic. So as you'll see in some of the scenes, when we went around the water, we actually end up scraping against a lot of branches and stumps. So we kind of came out of this with a couple of battle wounds on the ATV, and that's from just scratches and stuff like that. But
this is the official trail, right?
Yeah.
So you guys,
Yeah, we actually bought a trail pass online for the day. I think it was, I can't remember, I think it was like $20, $25 for the day. Although a season pass is obviously going to be a lot cheaper. But the trails are actually maintained by the ATV Association, so it's always good to pay their dues. Yeah, there I am. Yeah, because they do take care of some of the bigger stumps and the hazards that might fall down across the trail, and the trail's pretty well marked too. So I'm not gonna get lost or anything. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, looks like a lot of fun.
Well, it was amazing as we rode down here. I thought I was going to be burning a ton of gasoline, just 70 kilometers round trip. Well, actually, that was one way, and I thought
You guys did 70 kilometers?
yeah, one way. Yeah, and
Oh,
that
my
was
goodness.
that was just to get to the
Wow.
trailhead where this all started. So I was starting to have these thoughts in the back of my mind that I was going to get stuck in a mud bog, and then I'll have to phone you. Actually, I don't think we even had cell reception in this on the parts of this trail because it's so remote. It's
I'm
away
not
from
surprised.
it's away from the roads. We didn't see any cars. We're definitely in between, even some of the secondary roadways that go through here. So here,
what's going on
yeah,
here?
Ian's just waiting for me. I was probably just taking my time going through, and a couple of times we're just, assessing upcoming sort of mud patches that we knew we had to go through. So here he is just saying, well, let's get ready to go through this big muck pile. You ready? Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. Yeah. Started to get pretty warm too as we were there, so we kind of dressed in layers, and I started peeling off layers because it was actually starting to get pretty sweaty. So I think this shot is where what was it? I think one of us got stuck.
Well, I remember Ian telling me that he had to help you.
No, this is
No?
Ian getting stuck actually. So he's the one that got stuck here, and his ATV wheels, although you can't see them too. Maybe in the bottom right corner there you see the mud is pretty thick. I think the front
Oh, I
end
can
is
see
pretty
that.
dug down, and so I got off the ATV because I was behind him, and oh yeah, see that he's really bogged down. So what we do in this case is he's taken off the hook off the front of his ATV, and now we're going to find a nice big tree up front so that we can winch him out. So this is
I see.
this is a good demonstration of how we pull ourselves out of the of these mud bogs that we end up driving into, and sometimes, like in this case, not making it out of. I think we only got stuck this one time where the mud was really thick, and we kind of went around what seemed to be a better way, but didn't turn out to be because it was much muddier than being on the the left hand on the top there where the other side of the trail is.
So is this what makes this whole thing fun? Being stuck and having to rescue?
Yeah, we're young
Adventure
boys.
seekers?
Yeah,
Young boys.
we never get tired of playing in the mud. I mean, just because we're both kind of retired now, it doesn't mean we're dead. I mean, we can still go and get out there and play. You just got to be careful not to hurt ourselves or get in a situation where we're breaking stuff endlessly. So as you can see, I'm pulling out the cable. It's a pretty long cable here. I had to put the camera down at one point because I had to secure the steel cable around the trees. All right, so here's Ian. He's got the winch going, and he's also using the motor to help the wheels
Oh, that's very cool.
come out. So yeah, it's a bit
very
of a
neat.
slow process. You know what? I'm just glad it wasn't much muddier, because if we would have got stuck a couple more times, I think we would have wore the battery out on his ATV. I know he was having a couple of issues with power to the winch, even though there's an alternator on the motor which recharges the battery. But if you get stuck too often, you keep having to use the winch, you'll run out. Okay, so we were out of that and then back on the trail. So yeah, the scene here, it's pretty steep, so I'm taking my time and going down the trail, and there's Ian ahead again.
A lot of leaves.
Yeah, so you got to come out with us next time. Maybe I'll put one of those little booster seats on the back, and you can,
Children's seats.
yeah, children's seats. Yeah, and they can sit on the back like like you're on a booster and watch the scenery. Although I don't know how you're gonna hang on. It's
Pretty bumpy, I think.
yeah,
Right?
it was pretty bumpy. Like I mean, I being in the front, I can hang on to the steering, but you would probably be hanging on to the rack or something.
And the other issue, I remember riding with you, it gets really hot. My legs on the left-hand side, it gets really, really hot.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, especially when you got it in low gear, you're doing a lot of revving and it's getting pretty warm. Yeah. So the thing was, it was pretty cool out though. I mean, it was. I don't think it was barely 16, 18 degrees Celsius. So yeah, I guess it's better when it's a little cooler because it gives the motor a chance to cool off. But we'll probably get out there again now that we've done the initial christening of the ATV on the trails. Maybe next season we'll do it again. Oh, here's where I decided I was going to go around the trail because there's a lot of deep water on the main trail.
You're on an incline, a big incline.
Yeah, well, I'm
right?
going through the bush on the side, and I think this is where I actually scratched the ATV because there's a big twig or stump sticking out, and yeah, I kind of scraped up
That's why
against
you
it.
have to stay on the trail, maybe.
Well, yeah, but I didn't think I was going to make it through that much water. So anyway, so we kind of went off trail a couple of times where we could, where we found some space. But in this case, most of the time we stayed on the main trail. We were just slow. Maybe next time we'll try to go a little further, go through some different areas. But yeah, I know the Trail Association actually rates some of these trails as far as difficulty. Like at the very beginning, you saw the rail trail we were running along to get to the trailhead of this one. That's considered obviously a very easy ride because it's flat. There's gravel. I think this is more medium to difficult because of some of the inclines and some of the mud you get into. Yeah. And this is near, pretty close to the end of our ride where we came out. We didn't want to go further on the trail because we ended up coming out on a road. We figured we might as well head back from there. But quite a few hundred more kilometers to go on this various branches of the trail. Here Ian's going around another bog. I think I almost fell into the mud on this one, but because you'll see the ATV tilt over on one side pretty substantially. Maybe. So we did get to a clearing, which you'll see in a shot coming up, where it kind of opened up. It was nice scenery, and really only accessible by ATV, as there are no roads going to this particular clearing, where there's a small lake and sort of a dry bed. And you'll see that coming up in the next shot as we reach the end of this particular trail. So you can see Ian standing up on the ATV now. He's getting bold and brave. So
Cool.
yeah, well, we also didn't use that much fuel from the tanks, even though he and I both carried spare tanks. We ended up heading back along the road and stopped at a gas station that allowed us to refill the main tanks on the ATV before we went back. Oh, here's a shot where I decided to go around to go first because there's a big water bog ahead of us, and I decided to just kind of charge right through it. So I almost got stuck in this one because near the end there I was kind of revving while the tires are spinning in the mud, and there's mud flying everywhere. But you'll see in a second where I start to go through the water. Doesn't look that deep, but the water's actually coming up over the top of the tires on the side. And yeah, there's
Ooh,
where I
that's
almost get
deep.
stuck. Yeah, so it almost came up to the top of the wheel wells on that one. But I managed to power out, 4-wheel drive. You can see all the mud starting to accumulate. Here I'm looking back. Oh, should I get a picture of him getting stuck in the mud? No, I don't know. We'll see. Might as well get out of the way though.
So Ian had no issue going through the.
Well, our ATV is fairly new, so we got good tires. But his ATV is quite a few years older, and he had to take a good run at some of the bogs because he doesn't have as much tread. So I think one of the things he wants to do this year, or this coming
Get new
season, is
tires?
get new tires. Yeah. Yeah, and here's the one of the clearings. So this is a sort of remote lake in the middle of nowhere, sort of accessible only by ATV, and you can see it's very scenic.
It's very deserted.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
We just stopped here to check the GPS.
Oh
and,
my goodness.
Okay, we're
That's-
finished our ride. As you can see, the bikes are covered in mud. That proves that we were doing some true off-roading, right, Ian?
The 15-year-old dog did pretty well.
Yeah.
Compared to the new one.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, we went through some pretty deep mud, as you can see from the video. And now 150 kilometers, right? All right. That's it. Signing off. Actually, I don't look too bad, right? Not too much mud.
But yeah, so that's it. Hopefully we're going to do some more this season, but I just wanted to give our viewers sort of a taste of what it's like to ride through the trails up here, and hopefully we'll get some more footage next season of some of the other activities we do up here, in cottage country. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching.